Hi guys, it's Mr. Sean. Did you know that over half the people that watch this channel aren't subscribed yet? Did you also know that subscribing is the best and easiest way to help this channel? Please help me get to my goal this year of 1,000 subscribers. It's just a little click for you, but it means an awful lot to me. Thank you, and enjoy the video.
The topic of lost media is all the rage these days. But while everyone and their brother searches for well-known pieces like Saki-san Abashi, Slamfest 99, and old episodes of Doctor Who, there are hundreds, if not thousands of pieces that no one is looking for. These are those pieces. This is lesser-known lost media. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. It is I, your host, Mr. Sean, and today we have volume 38 of Lesser Known Lost Media. As you might have seen from the opening, the cover pic of this one, it is Roro approved, and I say that because I'm really happy to tell you that by the time I have recorded this, Roro has been taken to the vet, and they have told us that he is doing great, that his eye is healing, that he is out of the woods, so they're not going to have to go in and remove his eye because of the injury it received. It is healing on its own with the medicine just fine, and that's a really great news. If you're just joining us for the first time, why are you starting with volume 38? No matter. How this works is we start with 4 normal pieces of lesser known lost media, we take a brief ad break, and then we get into our 5th spicier piece. Of course, if you like this content and you want to see it continue, please be sure to subscribe, smash that like button, consider joining the Patreon or the YouTube channel as a member, and maybe buy a mini. Links are in the description. Without further ado, let's get to our first entry. Our first entry today is IQ Limited, partially found canceled Chinese localizations of Nintendo games from the 2000s. IQ Limited is a Chinese video game localization and console manufacturing company located in Suzhou. It was founded as a joint venture between Taiwanese-American scientist Wei Yen and Nintendo that was created in an effort to skirt the Chinese government's ban on video games. The company manufactured and distributed official Nintendo products in mainland China until 2018. This halt in distribution was due to Nintendo wanting to expand into partnerships with other third-party companies like Nvidia and Tencent for distribution in mainland China. During their tenure, they released versions of the Nintendo 64, Game Boy Advance, Nintendo DS, and Nintendo 3DS, and intended to also release versions of the GameCube and Wii. Due to the brand's general lack of success, the increasing PC and mobile gaming market, rampant video game piracy, and to a lesser extent interference from the Chinese government, many of the company's localizations have never been released. While some of these cancelled ones have been found, like Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time, several are still missing. Currently lost localization titles include Donkey Kong Country, Kirby Nightmare in Dreamland, 2 of my absolute favorite Nintendo games, Golden Sun and Golden Sun The Lost Age, and games such as Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire. This one is interesting to me just because it kind of shows you the somewhat antagonistic relationships certain Asian countries have between each other. I mean, Japan did a lot of not so great stuff back in the day, did a lot of evils, and some of the countries that were most affected by that, while the US, where I'm from, we've kind of given them the, it's okay, everybody makes mistakes, and have gone on to be very, very, like, chummy with them. Some of the countries that were more directly affected by their wartime endeavors still kind of hold a grudge, and China doesn't always love working with Japanese companies, and this was kind of one of their ways to skirt around that and get some of their products into mainland China, so I just find this one interesting. Alright guys, coming in at number 2, we have a fan-suggested entry. This entry was suggested by longtime commenter on the channel, Blue Baron 6858, and they have suggested the 4Kids dub of GoroRicki. A partially lost 4Kids English dub of GoroRicki, Russian animated TV series from 2008. GoroRicki is the first English adaptation of the hit Russian animated series GoroRicki. The series focuses on 9 cute animal creatures: hyperactive adventurer GoroRicki, a rabbit, his best friend, level-headed collector GoroRicki, a hedgehog, beautiful fashionista, GoroRicki, a pig, nerdy mechanic, Otoricki, a penguin, cute and handsome farmer, BoboRicki, a bear, sweet coot OlgaRicki, an owl, brainy scientist, DokoRicki, a moose, and a somewhat nervous poet named WallerRicki, a ram, and an elderly artist, BigoRicki, a crow, who live on an island isolated from the rest of the world. There are no villains in the series, as conflicts arrive from the many whimsical situations the characters face. 92 episodes were broadcast in the USA out of the 215 that were produced in Russia. So a little bit of history. GoroRicki was one of the last few English dubs that 4Kids Entertainment did before filing for bankruptcy in 2012. When the show was discontinued on CW 4Kids block after its second season in 2009, 4Kids never issued any DVDs of the show despite the cult following the show had during its run. Now, during 4Kids' downward financial spiral since the dub's cancellation, GoroRicki's rights reverted back to the Russian production company, the Ricki Group, who decided to do a new English dub, now with a new name, KikoRicki, which is being used to this very day, which launched on YouTube on March 31st of 2010. Now, recently, the Ricki Group, through a new distributor, Fun Union, has decided to dub the new CG animated series KikoRicki in English. 2 spin-offs, Pin Code and Baby Ricki, have also been dubbed in English. Fun Union has been posting episodes of their dub, both the original 2D series and the new CGI series on YouTube. It is currently unknown if the Ricki Group or Fun Union will release the 4Kids dub, or if they even have the episodes. Now, despite the fact that no home media release of the original dub was ever issued, you might be surprised to know that most of the episodes are available. Currently, episodes 64 through 68 are still lost, as well as episodes 78 through 85, as well as 87 through 89, and episode 86 is partially found. We always hear about lost English dubs of Japanese shows. It's the first time I've heard of one that was of a Russian cartoon, so thank you so much, Blue Baron, for this suggestion. I think these will eventually be found. It's just a matter of someone being able to come forward and go, hey, I taped these back in the day, and here they are. So I definitely think these ones will be found eventually. Alright guys, coming in at number 3, we have the PlusE, Lost Contents for Japanese Multi-Entertainment Device from 2001 to 2005. So PlusE was a touchscreen entertainment device developed by Japanese parking system developer JCM Inc. and it was installed at tables mainly in casual restaurants and izakaya pubs. Customers could inexpensively play video games, read fortunes, and watch cartoons and music videos on this device. The device was originally announced by JCM on January 22nd of 2001. There were a bunch of companies involved with it. A bunch of companies said that they would be creating content, and it was originally installed on a trial basis at the Sekime location of Gusto, a restaurant chain operated by Skylark, who was one of the companies that JCM partnered with. JCM announced that it would have the devices installed in 30 stores in March, followed by a full-scale installation in the company's stores in July. After a trial installation at 30 Gusto stores through July of the same year, Skylark concluded that each device generated an average of 700 to 800 yen in sales and increased customer traffic. And by April of 2002, Skylark had begun full-scale installation of the devices in all Gusto stores. In April of 2002, 15,000 units were installed in about 1,000 restaurants, and in May and June of the same year, the companies began offering music videos for 100 yen per song. For you Americans, that's about $1. A Series A soccer and Series A soccer matches for a fee in conjunction with the 2002 FIFA World Cup. On April of 2003, JCM collaborated with the systems company Wildcard to offer Disney on PlusE a divination and video game content using Disney characters, and video games were distributed by Bandai companies in May of the same year and by Namco in August of the same year. And in 2004, in April, Epoch distributed a game themed on the Sylvanian families. All of this grew JCM's annual sales to 9.242 billion yen after the introduction. However, JCM was saddled with debts of approximately 25.3 billion yen due to the accumulation of financial burden from having to bear all the cost of equipment, including PlusE from installation to operation and maintenance. So they were even though they were partnered with a bunch of companies, all of the operating costs and production costs fell on them. While a few devices were still installed after the civil rehabilitation proceedings, all the devices were removed from restaurants as of September 2005. With the removal of the devices, the content has been lost forever as it is no longer available. If you are interested in learning about some of the titles that were lost, please check out the article on the Lost Media Wiki. There are far too many for me to list in this video, but there are a bunch, and it's kind of interesting that, this thing was everywhere, and then just, like a lot of times, companies hit financial difficulties and it all goes away. But yeah, it sounds like they had quite a bit of content to offer with these devices, and but they're gone now. At number 4, we have Artman Animations, partially found stop-motion commercials from British animation studio from the 1980s to the 2010s. Now, if Artman Animations sounds familiar to you, it's probably because you know them from things like Wallace and Gromit, Shaun the Sheep, and Chicken Run. But they also have been making advertisements ever since their Enterprise Computers ad back in 1984, spanning many well-known brands such as Dairy Lea, Lego, Chewits, Chevron, Walkers, and so on. But there is even more of their advert work that remains lost online. While many have been found over the years, there are still several lost, such as a Kimberly-Clark ad, which involved a boardroom of executives contributing their ideas for cleaning products in a similar vox pop to Artman's other work, and this was one of their first advertisements. They also made a Honey Bunches of Oats ad that ran from 1993 to 1995 that is lost. There's an ad for Little Caesars, an ad for American Express Travel. There's an ad for Pedigree Dog Food, which is actually the company my dad used to work for. The list goes on, and for a full list, please check out the Lost Media Wiki. Again, Artman is a great animation company. Recently, just this year, they came out with Chicken Run 2, which was fantastic, but they've got a lot of work out there that is lost. So, that's always kind of cool. If you got some old VHS tapes from maybe the 90s, 80s to 2010, just lying around, maybe see if you can find some of these guys. Alright guys, you know what time it is. In between our 4th and 5th entries is the time that I make a plea to you and try to get you to part with some of your precious, hard-earned money. Like I said before, I sell minis. There is a Patreon. There is YouTube memberships. You can give a tip if you want. But basically, I'm just asking, whatever you can give, everything helps. Expenses have been up lately. 1, due to Roro, and 2, that up until this week, I was working a job that I took kind of out of necessity because I was laid off from my previous job, and actually had been laid off from the one before that job, but I was basically spending about $60 a week in gas to get to this place, which is why I was still looking for a new job, and I have started one. At the time of recording this, I actually start it tomorrow, so hopefully that goes well, but it has taken a bit of a hit on the finances, both the exorbitant gas prices to get to and from my work, as well as Roro's medical bills. So anything you can do, whether that's making a one-time purchase of a miniature, joining any of the paid tiers of the Patreon or the YouTube channel members, tiers start as low as $1 a month. So anything you can do to help, greatly appreciated. Also, please be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and be sure to share these videos with your friends because, I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. That will get this channel to full monetization. That will really help. So if you can help me do that, I would greatly appreciate it. Also, while I know most of you come here just for the Lost Media videos, there is a lot of other great content on the channel. We have RPG horror stories, neckbeard incel nice guy content. Just for Valentine's Day, I did a pretty cool creepypasta reading, so be sure to check those videos out. Get those videos a few more views. Share those videos with your friends as well. Let's get all of the content on this channel a bit elevated. Let's get more views, more likes, more subscribe. If you haven't hit the like button already on this video, please do so. Again, it all helps with the algorithm algorithm, the more people I can get to this channel, the more people I can get subscribed, the faster I can get to full monetization, and the faster I can stop begging you guys for money. So, hey guys, thank you for that little spiel, and let's get to that final spicy piece of lost media. So at number 5, today's spicy piece is Gore, a lost unreleased Gore Vidal biopic from 2017. This piece is one of several pieces of film that became lost because they starred Kevin Spacey. Now, you probably already have heard about the much more well-known piece of lost media, which was Kevin Spacey's scenes from All the Money in the World, the J.R. Getty biopic, that they refilmed his scenes after the 2017 sexual misconduct allegations that came against Kevin Spacey. But earlier in 2017, Kevin Spacey starred in Netflix's upcoming film entitled Gore. The film was essentially a biopic on the life of the American writer, screenwriter, and public intellectual Gore Vidal, the writer of what is recognized as the first major novel about a transgender woman in 1968's Myra Breckinridge. It would be the first feature film about their life, and many documentaries had been made about them years prior. It would take set in Italy and would be filmed in Vidal's villa in Ravallo, Italy. The film was directed by Michael Hoffman and was produced by Andy Patterson and Netflix. Months later, in light of the allegations, the film was announced to be cancelled. So if you didn't hear about these allegations, on October 29, 2017, 3 weeks after the production of Gore had wrapped up, and in light of the #MeToo movement happening during the time, actor Anthony Rapp had approached BuzzFeed News in June of that year, revealing revelations about Kevin Spacey and how Spacey made unwanted and non-consensual sexual advancements and actions towards them when Rapp was 14 years old, and Spacey, on the other hand, was 26. With Rapp coming forward on their indecent experience with Spacey, this caused a butterfly effect that week in which several more men came forward about Spacey's harassment behavior and inappropriate actions toward them, with some disclosing that they were minors when Spacey harassed them. With more and more allegations and revelations coming to light, on Friday that week, which was November 3rd, 2017, a spokesperson from Netflix announced that they will be cutting off relationship ties with the actor, thus also announcing the cancellation of the release of the project Spacey was involved with, which included the popular Netflix series House of Cards, as well as Gore. While that alone would be enough of an explanation for why this project never saw the light of day, there's also some upsettingly coincidental, off-putting similarities between the actor playing Vidal and some actual events of Vidal himself's life. So while the allegations against Spacey were definitely a reason why Gore would be unreleased, some articles suggest that this might have just been a factor too, as Gore Vidal, the person whom the film was about, was also involved and have done various inappropriate acts towards minors.
These are my only friends. Grown-up nerds like Gore Vidal, and even he's kissed more boys than I ever will.
Girls, Lisa. Boys kiss girls.
It was also allegedly apparent that Vidal was into younger men, given that Spacey was given the role to portray Vidal in the now unreleased film. It is off-putting and weirdly uncomfortable to see the similarities in evoking one another's actions. In a 2018 article by BuzzFeed News, they managed to obtain a script on Gore. In the article, it revealed a couple of instances in Gore's script where the film portrayed Vidal's alleged perverted acts with a young fan. In the script, Vidal's neighbor, Anthony, stumbled upon a letter from a young fan and aspiring writer named Jamie. Anthony later wrote a falsified letter that invited Jamie and his girlfriend to visit Vidal's house and convinced Vidal to let them in his house. The script was suggested to emphasize how attractive Jamie was and tried to begin to seduce Jamie. In another scene where Vidal invited Jamie to Rome, Vidal encountered Rudolph, Vidal's acquaintance, who would also encounter Marcella and Petra, both of which are hired exhibitionists by Rudolph, who started to dance in front of Jamie and Vidal. Later in the scene, it was revealed that both Marcella and Petra were male, as Rudolph stripped both of them, revealing their genitals. The scene would later go on as Vidal suggested Jamie was hard, which he had. The filmmakers of the film had stated no intentions behind Spacey's casting, and their main reason was Spacey's performance in House of Cards, and since the film was made before more allegations to Spacey came to light, it is unfortunate how unironic the similarities between Spacey's performance as Vidal and Vidal himself is. But as it stands, no available footage of the film exists. There are a few photos available, but Netflix reportedly lost $39 million on canceling this film, and since it had been in limbo with no company distributing the film as of yet, it will be very unlikely to be released for years to come. Many actors of the film had stated interest on releasing the film, however, not to support Spacey's actions, but to see how the film was meant to be seen. And I, for one, disagree entirely on that point. I don't think this film should be released, and it's not about censorship, it's about the fact that in many ways you cannot separate the actor from their art. Before it came to light what a creep Spacey was, I loved the film and loved the soundtrack from Beyond the Sea, which was the biopic Spacey made on Bobby Darin, and he sang all the great Bobby Darin songs. Artificial Flowers, Mac the Knife, Somewhere Beyond the Sea, Splish Splash, the I Was Taking a Bath song, and I love the movie. I had the soundtrack. I haven't listened to it in years because of that. It ruined it for me. I can no longer enjoy that soundtrack because the voice I'm hearing is the voice of someone who abused minors, and I just cannot. Even though I've already paid for the soundtrack, no more money is going into Spacey's pocket, I just can't do it. It ruined it. And I just don't, I don't think, just like they replaced him in the scenes for the Getty biopic, they would have to remake this entire movie again without him for me to be okay with them releasing it. Because, again, he's a creep, and we should not support that. A phenomenally talented actor for sure, but that does not in any way excuse his actions. So in my opinion, this one needs to stay lost. And that's the video, guys. Thank you so much for listening today. Be sure to share this video around to all of your friends. Be sure to subscribe. Be sure to smash that like button. Be sure to check out the other content on the channel, not just the Lost Media videos. Please consider joining the Patreon or possibly becoming a channel member. And hey, check the links, maybe buy a mini. Until next time, everybody, I'm Mr. Sean. This is Chimera Miniatures, and before I give the outro, because I always forget, I just need to thank my beautiful, wonderful current patrons, J-Dog and SJ Drifter 72. So again, until next time, I'm Mr. Sean, this is Chimera Miniatures, and I sincerely hope that you alpha great day and an even beta tomorrow. Bye-bye!